I'm Jay Ramsey, and I'm sitting here on a lovely day in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I've been for many years. I'm a longtime entertainer and songwriter. Happy to say I've had some success in my long career, and I now have over 100 songs in movies and TV as a songwriter, which is really kind of cool to think that my notes are out there somewhere, maybe forever. And I had some really good bands over the years, and if we count these sets in Las Vegas lounges, if we count those sets as shows, because I've done many other kinds of shows besides Las Vegas, but the total would be well over 30,000 performances, and that's why I look this way. I'm just worn out. But anyway, it's been a great ride, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ride. And I'll start with when I was born, and that was in Sanger, Texas, in the front room of a little house. And I lived there, I guess, for a while. I had some serious health problems, so eventually we left Sanger, Texas, and we went outside of town, which happened to be the last time I ever lived. I never lived in city limits again until I went to college. But anyway, Sanger, Texas was a very small town. I think there were around 1,000 people in there over the years that I was near there. I went to school in Sanger for 12 years straight in the same building, as a matter of fact, all those years. And unlike a lot of my friends, I didn't move away, but I have still classmates there in Sanger who have lived there forever. I love those people. There were only 19 people in my graduating class, so it was not a big school. But we moved after I had severe health problems as an infant, really. I think I was 6 weeks or 6 months old when I had double pneumonia, and that affected the rest of my life. Because I've had breathing problems ever since. But I've had an active life. I think we left the city limits, as I said, and we moved 5 miles east of Sanger, Texas, to a little valley of the Elm Fork of the Trinity River. And what a life that was. We lived right on the banks, right on the creek bank there. By the way, we called it Elm Creek, so I'm likely to say Creek Bank instead of River Bank. Usually it was normally a gently flowing creek, but when it rained a lot upstream up toward Oklahoma, it became a big river. It would roar down through there. It would come up over the banks and rise up into our little house there many times. Pardon me. Many times it rose up into our house and spread out over the little valley. My mother, I think, got tired of having her house flooded regularly, so we moved. She'd had a tough life. She'd never had a great, of course, she was born in 1914, so she lived through the Depression and all that. Probably the most stunning thing to her was after she was married to my father, and my older sister Judy was born. So about the middle 30s, I guess, my dad decided that he'd never seen a mountain, so he went west till he came to some mountains that he liked. He got a job as a full-time cowboy on a big ranch there in New Mexico. Came back, got my mother and my little sister at the time, and went back out there, and I don't think she enjoyed living there because she lived in bunkhouses and line shacks. So it was. So I'm sure she was disappointed when she finally got a house and it was getting flooded all the time. So they moved about a few hundred yards just out of the flood zone there, and life went on for me. I was pretty active, although asthma was a big part of my life. You know, I had a bicycle. I rode a lot of bicycle around there, and my dad was running along beside me to teach me to ride the bike, and I just took off. So I was a good bicycle rider. It was a small bike, and unfortunately had no brakes. Well, Dad said the way I had to stop the bicycle was to sit down on the back wheel. Quite an unusual situation, and when you're going fast, I found it difficult to convince myself that I had to sit down on that back wheel. So we lived on a gravel road that was up on a little rise. I'd come down there pretty fast, race into our property there. One time I crashed into my dad's pickup truck and probably had a concussion. And another time I dodged the truck and managed to hit the side of the house, which was unfortunate. As I recall, it had asphalt shingles on the side. So that was an adventure, sitting down on my bike to stop the thing. But I guess I survived it. I have 3 children and a bunch of grandchildren, so maybe it was not a permanent disfigurement there. Finally, my health was so bad that my folks sold that property because the doctors told them that I had to move to a higher, drier climate so I could breathe. So we sold that property, moved a few hundred more yards away from the river, the creek bank, but we never left there. We never moved to New Mexico like the plan had been. So I grew up there. It was a primitive life, but it was a lot of love and a lot of music in my life back then. Matter of fact, before I moved up there, I started my recording career. My first recording session, I was about 5 years old. And Clyde Hale was the director, the song director at the church. And he had a wire recorder. And I guess that was what they were before tape recorders came along. And I had a recording of me singing at about 5 years old, I think. My father was a big kidder, and I think this was a little diabolical, but the song he taught me was a Phil Harris song. He was a popular artist, I think, when I was little. And the song was called the Possum Song. And the first line of the song was difficult to say. Now, when we had lived in the first place, I'd fallen and knocked my teeth out. My front teeth were gone. So I'm 5 years old, and the song I was recorded, the first line was 6 tall, slick, slim sycamore saplings. So if you can imagine a kid with no front teeth trying to sing that and record it, it was a challenge, and I think my dad probably went to his grave laughing about that, but that was my first recording session. I've done hundreds of recording sessions since then. But meanwhile, we moved up to the third place we lived. It was still near the little valley of the Elm Fork of the Trinity River, and it was a primitive life. We didn't have things. We didn't have a telephone, no television, no air conditioning, no hot running water, and no bathroom in the house, my friends. No bathroom in the house. It was really a strange way. It wasn't strange to me, but we were more poor than everybody else, I guess. And so, when I got into high school and got a car, started dating a little, you didn't want to bring a girl to your house if she was going to have to walk down past the chicken house toward the woods to use the bathroom. So, not the most pleasant experience, but I grew up there. There was music in the house. My dad was a good guitar player and a good fiddle player. And my mother played some guitar, and although we didn't have a television and things like that, we had a radio and a record player. And it was always music. Some mornings I might wake up there and I might hear Claire de Lune by Debussy, and then later on the afternoon I might hear Tumbling Tumbleweeds by the Sons of the Pioneers. And it was all great music to me. I loved it all. And I finally started playing some music there. My dad, as I said, was a good musician, but he joined the church. I got a black bean soup in the kitchen, a red hot mom in my bed. I got black bean soup in the kitchen, red hot mom in my bed. pistol filled with white hot lead.
Oh yeah.
Don't go messing around in my business, 'cause I am a full-grown man. Don't you go messing around in my business now, 'cause I am a full-grown man. I'll take good care of you, little mama. Lord knows I'm plumb full of sand. You ain't got no bean soup, brother. Don't you go reaching in my bowl. Don't do it, son. You ain't got no bean soup, brother. Don't you go reaching in my bowl. Try to steal my bean soup, I just might take your heart and take your soul. I like my bean soup real hot, baby. Like the way it feels when you're going down. Sure feel good. I like my bean soup real hot, man. Like the way it feels when you're going down. My mouth waters so much, child. Sometimes I feel like I'm about to drown. I got black bean soup in the kitchen, red hot mama in my bed. I got black bean soup in the kitchen, child, red hot mama in my bed. Got $4 worth of green in my pocket and my pistol filled with white hot lead.